Mr. Joyce.
Thank you, Chair McCollum. Administrator Wheeler, it's no surprise that I was very happy to see the FY21 request include $320 million, equal to the FY20 enacted level for the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative. Sustained, robust GLRI funding is crucial to protecting and preserving the Great Lakes. If the GLRI is funded at $320 million again in FY21, what improvements can the EPA and its partners make to the quality of the Great Lakes ecosystem and the health of the citizens who live in their regions, and what economic benefits are we likely to see?
Well, thank you, sir, and thank you for your support on the Great Lakes. As you know, and I'll keep saying this until somebody corrects me, I believe I'm the only EPA administrator to ever go swimming in the Great Lakes. I have a great fondness for the Great Lakes myself, as does the President. So we are focusing on invasive species in the Great Lakes. We're also focusing on nutrient loading, not just into the Great Lakes, of course, but also into the tributaries to the Great Lakes. We're working on market-based mechanisms to try to work with our farmers instead of using a hammer to beat up the farmers, as what has happened in the past and wasn't successful. Right. We're trying to use some market-based approaches to work with the farmers to reduce the nutrient loading that goes into the Great Lakes. And you know, the Great Lakes are an incredible resource. I want to thank you for joining me last year for a tour of our Lake Guardian research ship, the largest research ship on the Great Lakes. We have been collecting data on the Great Lakes for 3 of the lakes for over 30 years, and the other 2 for over 20 years. With the ship, it travels all 5 of the Great Lakes every year, and is collect valuable information. We have researchers from around the world that come and spend weeks at a time on our research vessel, examining different scientific issues and problems with the Great Lakes, and it's turning into be one of the most studied water bodies in the world, and we're making tremendous progress in getting it cleaned up. We have a lot more work to do. I don't want to shortchange that at all. We have a lot of work to do. There's a lot of years of abuse on the Great Lakes that we need to turn around, but we see some healthy signs, and we're also looking at programs such as our Chesapeake Bay program, which has shown tremendous success over the years, to see what lessons learned in that estuary that could be applied to the Great Lakes.
I certainly appreciate the invite, and it was an interesting morning. But following it up, in FY19, EPA worked hard to leverage those dollars to work with partners to delist areas of concerns, restore coastal wetlands across the region, reduce phosphorus runoff, as you had said, and the threat of harmful algal blooms, and control invasive species. You've also created new restoration programs like the Trash-Free Water Program to clean and protect the beaches and waterways from plastics and other waste. Is EPA going to be using the $20 million increase in FY20 to expand new programs like the Trash-Free Water Programs and carry out more market-based nutrient reduction projects?
Yes, we are, and we provided $2 million for the Trash-Free Water grants for the Great Lakes, and we're looking at the resources that we have to see what more we can expand there on the Trash-Free Waters program, as well as the invasive species program too.
I consistently hear from my constituents in Ohio about concerns related to coastal erosion. GLRI, as we found out, addresses stream bank erosion, but not coastal erosion. As communities along the lake continue to lose more acres in coastal infrastructure to erosion, they're looking for help or creative ways to find and mitigate the damage, prevent further loss of land, and restore ecosystems. How is EPA working with other federal agencies like the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to help communities, states, and tribes address coastal erosion and protect ecosystems?
We are working with the Army Corps of Engineers. I was in Michigan last year as well to take a look at some of the coastal erosion issues with the Great Lakes, and the Army Corps, I believe, was with us, representatives from the Corps, as well as Fish and Wildlife Service. So this is a multi-agency, multi-department approach to looking at the erosion issues as well as other water issues with the Great Lakes.
Are there instances in the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative funding has been used for coastal erosion projects and restore any of the damage caused by the erosion?
I want to be, if you don't mind, I'd like to get back to you on specifics of that, because I can give you the exact dollar amounts. I know we're looking at that, but I'm not sure if the money's actually gone out yet for that.
I know you weren't up in Michigan studying their football program.
No, I was
back.
Joyce.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I apologize to my distinguished colleague from Michigan. I didn't see you in the room when I was joking about the football.
I meant to apologize as well. I didn't see her either.
We will be back.
Harmful algal blooms, or HABs or HABs, have been a concern, of course, in my district in Ohio. Lake Erie is especially susceptible to HABs, given it's shallow and the warmest of the Great Lakes. In 2014 alone, harmful algal blooms in Lake Erie left 500,000 people without safe drinking water and cost roughly $65 million in diminished property values, lost tourism revenue, and recreational opportunities, increased water treatment costs. That's why I was pleased to see that the new request includes $15 million for a new categorical program to fund prevention and response efforts for HABs that pose significant health or economic risks. How will this new grant program help us prevent and respond to the HABs in a way that we cannot currently do through other EPA grant programs? And how are other grant programs inadequate in addressing these problems?
Well, we've been doing a lot more research on HABs. In total, we've requested $22.4 million for HABs in the 2021 budget. 15 of that is for the new competitive grant program. HABs differ quite a bit from region to region, and it's different causes and different technologies are needed to address them. We have a number of our different labs. For example, our Kansas City lab is looking. We have a particular HAB problem in the upper Midwest, as well as in the Great Lakes region. So we need the competitive grants in order to address specific issue problems in different regions of the country.
How will these new grant dollars supplement the work the EPA and its partners carry out in the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative?
It will go a long way, and I know that the state of Ohio, under Governor DeWine's leadership, is looking at this issue in particular, and he's committed a number of resources at the state level, and we're looking to partner with him as well as the other Great Lakes states on issues such as HABs, and we're looking at, in addition to the new competitive grants and the funding we have for that, this is also why we're looking at, for example, the market-based mechanisms to work with farmers on reducing the nutrient loading that goes into the rivers and streams, such as the river in Toledo and the problems that we have there with the HABs.
If Congress were to provide $320 million for GLRI and $15 million for the new HABs grant program, how much would the agency project to spend in total on HABs work in FY21?
I'd have to get back to you on the full dollar amount, because the $22.4 million is an addition. We already have a number of projects ongoing and a number of resources that we're using to address the HABs that we have for a number of years now.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll yield back.